Chainsaw Man is one of the biggest manga in a long time. It's also one of the most hyped anime in recent memory. With that said, you might have the burning question: do I watch Chainsaw Man or do I read Chainsaw Man? And I don't blame you for that. Everyone seems to go the series so hard, both manga and anime seem so good. I can see some people might not know which way to go and might just kind of be put off in general to get into the series because they don't know which way to start, and they might be afraid of starting it the wrong way. And while I'm here to thankfully say that there is no wrong way to consume this awesome series, but there are for sure some ups and downs. So let's go ahead and break down this series first, and then let's talk about it. Chainsaw Man is written and illustrated by Fujimoto, at least the manga is illustrated by him. It follows the story of a young man named Denji who's granted the strange ability to turn into a powerful demon creature resembling kind of a chainsaw. He joins forces with a secret organization that fights off threats posed by demons, monsters, and other forces of evil. The series is constantly praised for its intense action, dark humor, and likable characters, and it has gained a super large following since its initial release in 2018. With that quick breakdown out of the way, let's talk about the manga and why you might want to choose it over the anime. Real quick, before we get into this, I just want to let you guys know I am going to keep this video as spoiler free as possible. Obviously, I'm assuming if you're wondering which way to start Chainsaw Man, you probably don't want to be spoiled and kind of want to go in with fresh eyes. So I'm not going to be discussing any specifics or spoilery content here at all. So I might be a little bit vague when I talk about certain things, but keep in mind that's purposely done so I don't, ruin the experience for anyone. All right, first off, the manga is going to be just the easiest way to stay up to date with the series. As of right now, the manga has begun its second part and is being published pretty frequently. So if staying up to date with the series is important to you, the manga will for sure be the better way to go. Especially because it seems like Chainsaw Man's anime hasn't even made any official announcements in regards to a season 2. It could be a long time before we see anything in regards to that. Now, the manga, in my opinion, being released before the anime has a big job to set the tone and pacing for what follows suit with the anime. And while I think the anime does a pretty faithful job, I think the manga is actually better in this aspect. The manga is faster overall, and I think better at delivering plot points in a more concise way. While the anime isn't slow, I just feel like it takes its time a bit more in a handful of areas. And we will touch on why it does that later on, but overall the manga I think has a better feel as far as pacing goes for me. That is completely subjective, but that is kind of coming from someone who has binged a lot of manga and anime. I think the manga is just a little bit easier to binge and go through than the anime was for me. On top of that, I think as a collector, there is something to be said for the manga books themselves. These have some really beautiful covers and honestly some of the best artwork I've seen, so I will put that out there. I think the physical books are beautiful, and I know some people like to collect the physical aspect of a series, so if collecting anything is important for you guys, the manga is for sure going to be the best way to go. And if you don't want to collect the series physically or dedicate space to it, you can of course read it through the Shonen Jump app. So you do have a digital route to go too with the manga, so that's good. It has multiple formats. You can read it digitally or physically. And actually reading it digitally is pretty cheap. The Shonen Jump app, I remember, was like $3 a month. It might be a little bit different, but the Shonen Jump app is super cheap and you can read through the whole series in for sure a month's time. Even if you kept the subscription for a month or two, reading the manga through the Shonen Jump app would still be a pretty affordable, cheap way to get through it. And then also the manga has one of the big perks of being the source material for Chainsaw Man. So in most ways, it's the direct creator's story with no fluff or extra bits or pieces or anything like that. So if getting the most accurate material is important to you, then the manga could be a good way to go. Not to say that the anime is so much different than the manga, but I just think the manga connects more directly with the creator's thoughts and vision than the anime does at certain points. So with that said, I'll be honest, I don't think there's one specific reason to choose the manga over the anime. I just think there's a lot of things to consider, and generally there's a lot of things that add up to make the manga a better option. Almost like how it would be a great option for you to go and subscribe to the channel and like the video. I really appreciate it. I work so much on these videos, so liking and subscribing would be awesome. Now, I'm not going to say here that the anime is a bad option, because that's just not true. Let's go and talk about why the anime could be maybe a better option. First off, let's just get the obvious out the way. The animation for this show is some of the best and most high quality animation currently out. There are very few shows, maybe 2 shows really, that put out as high quality animation as this show does. And also, while the animation is nice, it stays mostly true to the source material. I think it takes some liberties every now and then, but generally you're not getting anything that strays too much. On top of that, the music and voice acting is also really good in my opinion. I didn't find anything to be below standards or of, low quality really. The anime I also think has kind of a water cooler vibe. I think more people that are talking or discussing Chainsaw Man online or anywhere really are usually referencing the anime rather than the manga for the most part. Again, that could just be what I'm seeing on the internet, so you might see the complete opposite, but I see mainly people talking about the anime instead of the manga. This could just be that more of the casual audiences are watching the anime rather than reading the manga. And on top of that, I think the anime is for sure going to be something maybe like Demon Slayer, where I could totally see it getting a cinematic push, like a push to movie theaters or something like that. Obviously, Chainsaw Man hasn't really been out as long as Demon Slayer has, but I think it could get that same level of push on their side, where I could see Chainsaw Man getting into theaters or, taking an arc and making it a movie rather rather than a TV show season or something like that. And also, I've not done the math, but I feel like the anime might be one of the cheaper options. If you subscribe to Crunchyroll for a month, you can watch it there. And I think it's actually also on Hulu. So if you already have a subscription to Hulu, you can also watch it on there. I'm not sure if like the dub and sub is, different or, what's exactly going on there, but there are a few different subscriptions you can use to watch the Chainsaw Man anime. So the anime could be a cheaper option depending on how you have your subscription set up. If you already have Crunchyroll, if you already have Hulu, it could be relatively easy and cheap and affordable to go ahead and watch the anime rather than, get the Shonen Jump subscription or buy the physicals or, whatever. Generally, I would say the manga is going to be a little bit more expensive pretty much always unless you do the Shonen Jump app route and go digitally. Physically, you're of course going to be spending $8 to $10 per book, and I think there's 11 books so far released. So you're looking at a good $100 there, depending on if you get a good deal or not. And then again, that's going to take time and research, and that's a whole separate video really. But generally, the anime I think will be a cheaper route unless you do the Shonen Jump app subscription. But overall, I will say the anime for Chainsaw Man is really good, and it's a great time all the way through. There honestly isn't a huge reason to avoid the Chainsaw Man anime, but like I said, the main reason I'd recommend anyone to watch the anime is just because of the production value and how high quality it is. So that's important to you, then I'd probably go the anime route. But in all honesty, I think I would 100% recommend more people to go and read the manga. And there is totally the option to read the manga and then watch the anime as it comes out, because the anime is going to be coming out a lot slower than the manga chapters will. But that's the good thing, is you don't really need to pick one or the other. You can do both. Overall, I do think the manga is probably the better pick. You can go the digital options to save money, but you can also get the physical editions to go and collect the series too. And then you're also again getting the source material for what the anime is going to end up using anyways. And also the manga is just put out beforehand, so you can stay as up to date with the series as possible by going the manga route. But the anime is still solid, and I don't think you'd regret going either way, honestly. Have you read or watched Chainsaw Man? How was your experience with it? Do you think one is significantly better than the other, or does it not even matter? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and go and subscribe, and thanks for watching to the end. Have a good one.